This episode is a continuation of the previous episode, episode 1. We're back.
Hi.
We're more well rested now, and it's now only audio. We were discussing before, the final caveat that we had was computer science ranking, because our experience in school with it isn't too great. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the syllabus in school. It's a bit of nothing.
It's not balanced enough.
It's not balanced.
Yeah.
Balance how? What do you mean by balance?
Because sometimes you have a lot of work to do, and sometimes you just do nothing in class. You can typically in computer science you don't do anything.
Yeah. Wait, hold up. You say we have a lot to do. Like what? I don't actually remember us ever having much to do in class.
Well, like the day before the deadline of Crit B.
Yeah. Okay. So then, like the projects create a lot to do. Right?
Yeah, but like we only put it until the last minute to do the actual project.
That's just because we put it off.
But then the teacher didn't even check it.
Yeah. So computer science needs a lot of work, I would say, like the syllabus in general. But also, depending on the syllabus, the teacher has a lot of effect on it too. I mean, we have our teacher, which we will not mention by name. We will not dox him. So, yeah, he could be a lot more passionate. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
The IA, how is it going with your IA?
What is IA?
Internal assessment.
Oh, that.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Giving the listeners an introduction to the IA. Very good, Jack.
So basically, IA, in case you guys don't know, we have to make a working program so that we need to find a client, and then based on what they need, we actually have to create a program for them using whatever programming language you want. So it's very flexible. You can choose your own programming language. And my friend is using a random Chinese software that I don't know where he got it from, but you can do whatever you want, and you have to record, note down your steps and your planning and everything. Basically a huge project that stretch out 1 year, a period of 1 year. And so far my IA is pretty
it's
good.
progressing. It's progressing. There's something there.
Like there's criterion B where you have to plan out everything you're gonna do, like different variable, basically different elements you're gonna have in your program.
Well, you can't mention criterion B without mentioning criterion A.
Well, criterion A
is
basically just detailing your client, the problem and stuff. So that's pretty simple, because you just go out and interview people. However, in criteria B, in order to know what, you should provide them a list of different elements in your program, and you cannot just finish criterion B yet, because you have to actually start the coding, which is in criteria C. The C stands for coding, and you actually have to start coding and make your program so you know what you should include in it. And then, so my strategy right now is that my criterion B is kind of bad. I gotta say, it's kind of bad. It's not that good, but
are you following it, like the parts that you've already designed in criterion C? Are you following it at all?
No, I'm waiting until the criteria C is almost finished, and then I will go back.
Redo the criterion B.
Yes, because afterwards it's gonna be much simpler to do the criteria B, because before, everyone who's doing criteria B, they have to imagine of what their program looks like, and it's kind of like put them inside like a frame, and it's kind of limit them inside like a certain mindset, I need to include this certain element, while my strategy goes let's just do the coding, let's just freestyling the coding, see what works and what not, and then include it back to criteria B in the future.
Yes, the classic make the dish and then edit the recipe afterwards.
Yes.
Strategy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying not to do that. I've already finished maybe 70% of my criteria B before I started even the coding. And I feel like my design, I put a lot of work into my mock-up designs, and then so the entire process of criterion C for me has just been trying to learn how to build the app in Java, um, which is it's it's going quite slow. It doesn't have like the same graphical editing capabilities that you using Unity might have with that all that C sharp. You drag the boxes around, drag the label texts around, drag text boxes in there. It's a tad bit like faster. Me, I gotta position everything. Learning all the layout managers and stuff.
Goofy,
It's
goofy.
quite the ordeal.
So
Yeah, but then yeah, I don't know. Like Java in general. It's always been quite the thing for me.
yeah, but it's also important that you choose the correct programming language, because since once you get into it, it's hard to return. Right, it's so hard. Imagine like halfway through you think, oh, because sometimes when I do even in Unity, you say it's easy, but it's very hard, because sometimes I get to a certain point where I'm like, oh shoot, what should I do now? Like if I continue, I don't know how am I gonna like do this code? Like how am I gonna code this thing? Because we have a lot of ideas, right? We brainstormed before, like, oh, we're gonna have a login system. We're gonna have a system where allows the user to change their profile, have different music playing in the background, and like different features. But then when we actually do it, we realize how hard it is to achieve that. So we like sometimes we doubt ourselves and think like, oh, is it too late to like just restart and do it in another programming language? And you have to get used to that feelings, because like it will make you feel very scared at the start, but eventually as you progress through the IA, you think like, oh, maybe sometimes it's good to sacrifice some features and then do whatever you can like in your capability to just freestyling your program. Like sometimes it's impossible to do certain things because it's beyond your level. You gotta get used to that and not give up too easily on your programming language.
Yeah, failing at your programming language is
Yeah,
a is a bit of an experience. You mentioned that another friend of ours has first he probably put it off a lot in the beginning of the summer,
yeah,
and then after maybe halfway through he started trying on like a weird software you said.
yeah,
And then I'll tell you, just last week, all right, just like a week, basically a week before the summer ends, and he just texted me, "Hey, I'm thinking about switching to Java," which I'm like, okay, that's gonna be a bit of an ordeal. I'm
yeah,
quite late there, sir. Quite late there, sir.
yeah,
I mean, oh, but this like all this coding stuff, like this project stuff that has to do with school, like it's like we talked about the syllabus before. They should focus a lot more on that, right? Like
yeah.
actually doing stuff, because the coding that we do in class, that instructed,
It does not relate
it
to
does
what
not
we are
relate.
going to
Yeah,
make.
it does not relate. It like we go so shallow in depth,
Well,
but we go so deeply into like strange computer architecture theory so much. Like
yeah, true. But a good side is that if you do it this way, then the student are actually like encouraged to actually like approach it in their own ways. So like they actually go out and search for YouTube videos, because like when they go to university and things like that, it's not gonna they're not gonna learn everything from the class, and they have to actually go out and learn themselves. So it's IB somewhat train us to be
to kind of like
capable of,
become
yeah,
self-learning,
to be
right?
self-learning, yeah,
Yeah.
but we're just bunch of kids 17 years old, like sometimes we're stupid like that, and
Yeah.
it can cost us the entire future, so,
So much
it's
time.
risky,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, recently I did a work experience program with Amazon, Web Services, and then the instructor there, like I took some pointers from there. It's um, the classes that he gives are a lot different to the classes that we receive in school through the IB, because the classes that he explains theory, right? Okay, a lot of the lesson, like what, half 75% of the lesson is just going through slides, going through theory, him explaining stuff, but then just at the end, there's always a bit of coding injected. Like
Oh.
like we work on a program called Google Colab, which is an extension of Jupyter Notebooks, which is something that allows you to basically create machine learning models and stuff like that. And so him giving us a whole file full of code, notes, comments, explanations, which really lets us connect theory to code, and that's a lot. I'll say a lot
Efficient.
better. Yeah, a lot more efficient. It gives a bridge between hypothetical, just talking words,
To actual coding.
to actual coding. Yeah, to actual practical work,
Yeah.
which is something that I feel.
And I feel like coding is a bit it's not taught enough in my opinion, and we kind of go in like the syllabus of computer science and IB goes off in a more like a business kind of direction.
Not even really business, because if you look at like syllabus outline, like there are topics like system fundamentals, computer organization, network, computational thinking.
It's like a more technician.
Yeah,
way.
like I mean, talking a lot in words, not enough in code and how things actually work.
Yeah.
Which is something that I feel that a lot of computer science is enveloped in.
Yeah.
Like because computer science is so popular.
Yes, that is why in IGCSE there are difference between ICT and computer science. ICT is gonna be about hardware, but computer science will be leaning towards more logical and more like actual coding. Yeah. That's why I'm kind of surprised when they mix ICT and computer science.
Yeah,
together.
when there's no ICT here. Like they probably should be like a hardware subject and a software subject.
Yeah, now they mix it together, and the percentage of software is actually less than hardware.
It's
like
a lot less.
Yeah,
it should be a lot more. Should be a lot more practical. And I feel like this trap, like most of computer science, falls into this trap a lot, because computer science is very popular. A lot of buzzwords. You know, like do you know what buzzwords are, Jack?
No.
Buzzwords are kind of industry lingo, just people quoting things that they don't really understand. Take the school mask off. that like imagine just a businessman walking up to you and then saying, "Oh, I want to make an app that integrates all this different stuff, like all of this technology. Like I want to make an app that uses machine learning, artificial intelligence, and all this." But then they don't really understand how that works.
Yeah.
They just say words. They just say like this. They just name drop concepts.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that a lot of students fall into. I feel a lot of our peers fall into something like that.
Yeah.
Where their understanding is limited at slides and introduction of concepts, not really pursuing the concept on your own. And while I do see the fact that you do need to pursue concepts on your own in your own free time. That's what it means to be a learner. That's a skill that you definitely have to learn to flourish in business and in your career. School should probably do a better job at connecting the two for people who might not have.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, too big of drive, I would say. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Jack's just scrounging around somewhere now. This was the pilot episode, and we'll see how the podcast goes from here.